This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
How you doing? All right. God bless my mom. She really tried to help you all. Y'all, you know.
You got a cheeky message.
The problem is, she told you all that stuff about me. I don't really care if you ever know me or know my name or know where I came from or know who my mom or dad is, because you don't know who you are. How old are you, man? 10, how old are you?
13.
Huh?
13.
13, speak up. How old are you?
15.
All right.
15.
15, okay. Frederick Douglass, I know who he was.
Oh,
He had a quote. Frederick Douglass, one of our great black leader heroes. Look him up. You got the internet. Y'all look up P. Diddy falling off the stage, right? Or falling into the...
No, that was part of the show.
It was part of... Well, see, my problem is P. Diddy ain't going to help you become liberated. P. Diddy ain't interested in you becoming liberated. What's liberation?
Liberation?
Yeah, what's
liberation?
Liberation.
Being back with your... You said alliteration?
No, liberation. Liberate. What it is to be liberated?
Freedom.
Freedom. How many of y'all free? Raise your hand, you think you free. Why you think you free? Why are you free?
Because our history.
Wait, hold on. I want him to talk. No. Stay focused. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because like blacks like Malcolm X, Martin King, Rosa Parks, they sacrificed their lives for us young people or the future generation to have a life as Caucasian folks.
Okay.
Be set free and do what they want.
Okay.
Since he took my answer already, I'm gonna say.
All right. Go ahead. You don't write the wrong answer. Go ahead and say what you got to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking free because I'm gonna grab who got to tell me what to do every time, and I can like do things when I want to do it.
You got no parents? You got no guardians?
Yeah, I'm about to say that.
I can buy kids.
Do you want to be here? Do you want to be here? Be honest. So why you here?
Because I had to come here.
Ooh, you had to come here. I thought you was free.
Come on, let me check.
I thought you was liberated. I thought you said you.
See what happens.
Nah, you do that like you a Judge Judy or something. Nah, I don't want to hear all that. Yes, sir. What is liberation? Are you liberated?
I'm free.
Why you free? Or why you think you free? Let me put it like that.
I'm not free because my ancestors went through a lot for me.
Who are your ancestors? Who are they?
Like,
Okay, Martin King.
Rosa Parks. Now I can get in the bus. I can get on the bus and I can sit.
Now, let me ask y'all this. It's fascinating. I heard people say Dr. King and Rosa Parks. Where do y'all learn about these people? Dr. King in school.
In school.
Who is Marcus Garvey?
Marcus
A.L.L. He was black.
Right, who was from Jamaica? That's good. All right, cool. Where you learn that from? You learned that in school?
Yeah, but it was this teacher. She studied history a lot, and she was gonna teach us what we didn't know.
Right, but was it part of the books though? Was it part of the curriculum? What she taught you? Marcus Garvey was in your book, right?
I know.
Okay, why you think that is? Well, I mean, why you think Marcus Garvey wasn't in your book?
I know why.
Nah, I want to hear him talk. They make everybody gay. That ain't the point. That ain't about the point. The point is, first of all, wait a minute, hold up. Y'all don't have no respect of self. When the brother's trying to talk to me and give me his answer, y'all busy talking and not paying attention. I'm letting you in on a secret. Y'all not free. There are more black folks locked up in prison than there were in quote-unquote slavery. Contrary to popular belief, I don't know y'all been paying attention to the news. I think y'all know about the Confederate flag, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know that there was a terrorist flag, right? Yeah. Y'all know they betrayed the country, right, when they try to fight against the United States of America over slavery. All right, y'all don't know that, but what I'm trying to tell y'all is they shot 9 black folks in a black church. That's a good question. This month. On June the 17th.
Oh, can we see the video, please? I just want to
No. What I'm trying to tell y'all is y'all worry about LeBron James. Y'all worry about P. Diddy. Y'all worry about BET. Don't you know there's a war on black people right now in this system? Don't you know that they are approving vaccinations that are destroying black boys?
What you mean by vaccination?
Like, doing flu shot and all that stuff. They have been doing studies. You can Google this up. CDC, the Centers for Disease Control. Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. I don't know if y'all know who he was. He was the John Kennedy's brother, right? He was Attorney General. His son has found out that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, have been approving vaccinations that supposed to protect you from the flu and all that other stuff. That is undermining the health of black boys.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they trying to destroy black people through the system. Right, like they invented AIDS. What I want y'all to understand is that black churches have been burnt. There have been 6 black churches burned since last week. 6 black churches. We had 9 black people die in a church by a quote unquote racist. A racist went to somebody's Bible study and shot up grandma and granddaddy and big brother and your niece and nephews. What I'm trying to tell y'all is everything ain't nice right now. Everything ain't no Young Thug or Lil Wayne or Drake right now. Black folks are catching hell in this country right now. It's black folks younger than you all that are locked up in prison in the juvenile court system. Don't you know? Juvenile police officer told me one time a couple years ago. I ain't gonna never forget. He said every time we lock up a kid in juvenile or a child in juvenile, take them down to the juvenile court system, they get a bonus. They get this is back in 2008, the brother told me, he said it disturbed him. He said, every time we send a kid down to juvenile court system, they'll get like $100 a piece.
You are needed in the office. Mr. Whitehead, you are needed in the office.
These are the juvenile cops, the delinquent cops, like you skip been playing hooky and stuff from school. When they take you down to the court, to downtown, they get a bonus every time they take a black person or a student downtown.
The person who did that, who took him downtown?
Yeah, the delinquent cop, yeah, the officer to be, taking people down. Truancy officer, right? So what about Mike Tyson? He don't care about you. He don't know you exist. I mean, with all due respect, he might be a nice guy, but he don't know about you. I'm trying to tell you something that affects you. So when we talk about history, one thing that we learn is it repeats itself. Because it like the seasons, winter, fall, spring, all this stuff comes around every so often. It's the same thing with history. But what I'm telling y'all is that they're making a whole bunch of money off of miseducating you all and locking you up. Think about this. I told you that, they get bonuses, right, for locking you up. Then not only that, they spend more money in prison than they do on schools. They've been closing down schools left and right. Not only in Memphis, they've been laying out teachers from Chicago to Baltimore to L.A. They've been shutting down schools everywhere.
Mr. Whitehead, you are needed in the office. Mr. Whitehead, you are needed in the office.
But they waste no money building prisons. Don't you know the corporate headquarters for private prisons is in Nashville, the CCA? Don't you know that, how many of y'all got folks in prison? All right, it's like, every black person, I mean, you might not talk to regulating them, but everybody knows somebody in prison. They privatize in prison, meaning that they want to make money off of it. That means they don't care if you get rehabilitated, if you become a better person. They just want to keep you in there so they can make money off of you. Don't you know that a lot of corporations like Walmart and IBM, these are corporations that y'all want to work for and all this stuff, they hire folks in prison and pay them less than $1. Pay them pennies on $1 to work for them in prison. That's slave labor. Then when they get out of prison, they can't get a job at these same companies. So they give you, and then they start young. Like I said, they get y'all younger than y'all. Got guys being tried as adults, being put in with men.
Can they stay out of trouble?
Well, it's not to stay out of trouble, but it's a system that is created to keep you in trouble. Don't y'all know how smart y'all, how brilliant y'all are? Y'all understand how great you are? You think about...
They don't show it.
Well, you gotta research it, because they don't want you to know that. They didn't want him to know about Marcus Garvey. The sister had the conscience to tell them about Marcus Garvey, because they don't want you to know who you are. Your education is supposed to be informing you about who you are. All your education, if you don't know nothing about black people outside your family, then your education has failed you. It's failed you because your education, the foundation of your education is knowledge of self. Everybody say this, the foundation of your education is knowledge of self. How you gonna know what to do and what not? The only reason y'all know about, how many of y'all want to be rappers?
slick dude.
Basketball players, football players. Why you think that is? Why you think you want to be a rapper or a basketball player?
We want stuff like other people.
You want go ahead, say it again.
We want stuff like other people, and we can be up there with the Caucasian folks with the high class.
Right, so they want to promote you to get to another level, be with white people, right? So the end game for you is to become successful. That means being with white people, right?
Yeah, but if I can't do that, you get back up in education.
Say, well, what I'm telling you is the reason why y'all know about this, the reason why y'all want to be basketball players and football players and rappers, because that's the only thing they pushing on TV, on your media. When you look at this, those people that get the contract endorsements, right, the shoe contracts, and they promote the Gatorade, all that other stuff. If they push y'all want to be historians, y'all want to be historians too. If they made rap songs about being historians, if they made songs about, Marcus Garvey, y'all say, I want to be like Marcus Garvey. See, exactly, who is that? Knowledge of self is liberation. If you don't know who you are, where you came from, and who you can become, you are not free. Just because you go to school and have all these degrees don't make you free. I went to school with a brother. He was a football star in my school in college. I remember like 3 years after I graduated from college, I found out that he got sentenced to prison for 540 years. They gave him 540 years. He's on year number 10 right now. He ain't gonna make 540 years. What did he do? Did he kill somebody? No, he didn't kill nobody. He didn't kill nobody. But what he did was wrong. He broke into a white lady's house and allegedly raped her for 30 or 90 minutes. That's what they say. And the judge who gave him the sentence was a white lady. She said, this is the worst crime I ever heard of in my life. And she lived in St. Louis. I went to school in St. Louis. You live in Memphis. Is that the worst crime you ever heard of? Somebody getting raped. He didn't kill her. He assaulted. That was wrong. Don't get me wrong. But does that warrant it spending 540 years in jail? So why do you think he got that punishment?
Because he was white. Because he's black.
He's black and he didn't have the means. And the system is not set up for you all. See, y'all keep on talking about being with white people. So if you look at the churches are getting burned up, who do you think burned up the churches?
White people.
But what type of white people?
KKK,
racist. But do we really know for some? Huh?
No, KKK was.
They came to Memphis, yeah. But you know what? I'll tell you why. When they come, they came in 2013. But I'm gonna tell you why they come to Memphis. Don't you know on Union Avenue, that big horse statue? There's a horse statue near UT Medical. Well, no, I'm gonna ask y'all ever passed about across from Office Depot?
Yeah, I see.
Y'all know who that is?
KK leader.
Right, he was Nathan Bedford Forrest. He's buried there with his wife. That's not just a statue, that's like his burial place. And they put him there. Well, here's the thing. Let me tell you about Nathan Bedford Forrest so you can understand why you need to know who you are. Nathan Bedford Forrest was a prominent slave trader. He was the Michael Jordan and LeBron James of slave traders. He became a multi-millionaire by trading your ancestors in downtown Memphis.
Auction Street, y'all.
The auction and exchange. All those streets named out there. Auction and exchange. That's slave market. Come on now. Slave market. So he traded your ancestors and made his folks rich off your ancestors. And not only that, we talk about the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag was made in response to the Civil War. That was the flag of the Confederacy. He was a part of the Confederacy. John Nathan Bedford Forrest was a military genius. He did things on horseback nobody else ever did. He never went to no military school. He was able to do things on horseback and leading troops into battle that they still study today in military schools throughout the world. So this backwoods dude became multimillionaire out trading your ancestors is still revered because of his military genius. So this is what he did. Let me tell you what he did. Well, you should know who this man is. April 12th, 1864, there's a place called Fort Pillow, Tennessee. It's a state park now. He led what is considered one of the worst human rights violations in American history. He led the Fort Pillow massacre. And what happened was you had black Union soldiers that fight for Lincoln, fighting for the United States. They were stationed at Fort Pillow. And their commanding officer told them this. He said, you know what? Y'all better not surrender. Y'all better fight to the death because they're going to torture y'all. Because they put out a mandate through the Confederacy that we catch a Union soldier of color, a black Union soldier, but they got to be put to death. We're not trying to keep them as prisoners of war. So Nathan Bedford Forrest basically gave his man the right to slaughter surrendering black soldiers. He poked their eyes out with bayonets, those knives on the end of those guns. They burned them alive. They buried them alive. They did horrendous things to black soldiers because they were fighting for their liberation. So this is Nathan Bedford Forrest. He's buried on Union Avenue. That's the first Grand Wizard of the KKK. The Ku Klux Klan was started in Pulaski, Tennessee back in 1866, and he was the first Grand Wizard.
The Django movie.
Right, but Django is a lot of history with a lot of fantasy. So what I'm trying to get y'all to do, research the stuff for yourself. Go to primary sources. What I mean by primary sources, I mean people that wrote diaries or people that are actually there, or newspaper accounts of actual events during that time period. Go to the Memphis room at the library. You know, go online. You know, there's no limit to what you can find out. But I want y'all to know that because from that spot where he's buried, the reason why he's buried there, first of all, he died in 1877 or 1876. He had chronic diarrhea. He couldn't keep it there. That's fitting, right? You know, he died because he couldn't stop. You know, he couldn't stop going. Yeah, he couldn't stop pooping. He pooped himself to death. I mean, that's kind of work. But here's the thing, though. He was buried in a place called Elmwood Cemetery. I know where Elmwood Cemetery is, right? No. It's like on Crump. Yeah, you know where it is. It's near Lamar, right across the street. But here's the thing: the son, there you go. The son and daughters of the Confederacy. They the people that promote the Southern heritage, and they believe in white supremacy and Civil War and all that stuff. They moved his body to that location back in 1904, 1905. They moved his body there because his wish was to be buried with his man in Elmwood Cemetery. That was his wish. He wanted to be buried with his man because there's a lot of Confederates and Civil War people over there in Elmwood.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why don't they make a law about not kill a colored person or a white person just for racism?
Well, they got hate crimes. They got things called hate crimes.
Yeah, but
they got law.
They don't follow the law anyway. You see white people. Man, who killed the people in North Carolina or something like South Carolina?
Yeah, this South Carolina.
So why don't we get like a life sentence? Like, what's so special about it? You got the same blood color. Right. You still the same person. You a human. It's just y'all different colors. Like, we gonna argue or something?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad y'all brought that up because a couple blocks from where Nathan Bedford Forrest is buried was a place on Beale Street called the Free Speech and Headlight. It was a newspaper office ran by Ida B. Wells Barnett. Y'all ever heard of her? Yeah. You heard of Ida B. Wells School, right? Yeah. But y'all know who she was? Yes. Who was Ida B. Wells? I ain't talking about the school, I'm talking about who was the person, Ida B. Wells.
I think she's newspaper lady.
She was a newspaper lady, right?
She's spoke her mind, something like that? Did she speak her mind?
She definitely spoke her mind. Now, she died in 1931. Ida B. Wells, I'm going to tell y'all about Ida B. Wells, why you should be proud of this sister, because you asked a great question about basically, does black lives really matter in this system? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, unless you're making the white supremacists a lot of money. Because like here, Ida B. Wells Barnett was from Holly Springs, Mississippi. She was born a slave. You can still go to a house where she was born at down there. They got a museum in her honor. But by the time she was 16 years old, she was raising her brothers and sisters because she lost both of her parents to yellow fever epidemic back in the 1870s. So she was like at the age of 16 raising up be like maybe 5 or 6 siblings, something like that, right? And she became a school teacher. She went to Rusk College down there. I think she also went to Fisk University, but she became a school teacher in Memphis. She became a school teacher in Memphis. And I'm gonna tell you something about, y'all said Rosa Parks, right? 70 years before Rosa Parks, she did this 70 years before Rosa Parks, Ida B. Wells refused to remove from her seat on the train. She was in a first class train seat, and she refused to be moved from her seat. This is 70 years before Rosa Parks ever did it. She bit the conductor hand and everything. They threw her off the train. She took it to court. She won. She had got a settlement, I believe, like $400. But they overturned it in the high court, the Tennessee State Supreme Court. They overturned the ruling. But this sister, in her 20s, did this back in the 1880s, at a time where black folks were catching hell. They were lynching a black person every day back in those times, right? What I mean by lynching, I'm not just talking about hanging. I'm talking about they destroy your body. Like when they did a lynching, they actually would sometimes put an advertisement in the newspapers. The white people would. So you have special trains coming into towns, bringing in white folks throughout the region to look at a black person being mutilated to death. And when they did a lynching, I'm gonna tell you what a lynching is. It's not just a hanging. People say, well, you hang. Hanging is a hanging. A lynching is like a crucifixion. Because basically what they do is they'll torture you. First of all, they'll cut off your fingers, your toes, your nose, your ears. They'll poke your eyes out. They cut off your sex organ. No, I'm serious. They cut all that stuff out, and they'll skin you alive. They'll peel your skin while you're still alive. They cut your tongue out so you can't, make out words. And sometimes they'll set you on fire. This is what they did. And sometimes, you go to Walmart, you buy all this stuff, they will sell your body parts at places like a Walmart. And they'll make postcards of your photo, of your death photo. They'll use it as postcards. As a matter of fact, you go online, there is a art exhibit that shows lynching photographs used as postcards. This white man went around cutting all these postcards of photos of black folks being lynched. So it was horrible to be lynched, because a lot of times you might be innocent of what they said you did, but yet you had no court. They violated your civil and your human rights. So you never had your day in court. So that's what they were doing. They did a lot of that in Memphis. They used to hang black folks off of lampposts. Lynch Memphis. It was a race riot in Beale Street back in 1866. You had some of the white cops, they got mad at the black soldiers because we had Reconstruction. That was during the period where the South was rebuilding from the Civil War. So a lot of the soldiers they sent down south were black soldiers. So the white folks didn't like being told what to do by the black soldiers. So they actually rebelled against that. But it was the white cops that started the riot. And so they went down to Beale Street. They burned down schools. They burned down churches. They shot black folks, men, women, and child. They raped a lot of black women. One 16-year-old black girl, she was one of the smartest people in her school. She was trying to put out a fire on a building, and the white folks wanted her to go back into the burning building and be burned alive. And she said, no. She ran down the street. They shot her many times in the back, and her body ended up catching on fire and burning right before her mom's eyes. This happened in Memphis. This is back in 1866. I ain't trying to. No. Like, it's like this. Hey, that's a stop sign, and that's a stoplight. That's a yield sign. Now, if you go through that stop sign, if you go through that stoplight, I warned you what was ahead for you. I warned you by taking you back. That's how you know who you are. You cannot be free, because the thing about what the people do is, see, y'all will assume that a person like me, well, why he's always angry? Because I know stuff that y'all don't know, or y'all take for granted. Because once you start knowing stuff, you'll be angry too. And you will say, well, is it terrible to be angry? No, because anger makes you do things. When you always happy and complacent and, they're going to take care of me. Yeah, they're going to take care of you if you don't do for self. I want to tell you, you got to learn this for yourself. They're going to say, well, Mr. Ron said all this. Go research it. It's online. You got books y'all can read. Y'all in a better place than I.B. Wells wish she had the advantages that y'all had 100 years ago. She wish she had the internet. You know what she be doing with Twitter and Facebook right now? She be exposing how they doing black folks right now. Exposing everything. She won't be, P. Diddy. Forget P. Diddy. Forget him. His son can't even play football. Forget him and his son. Okay? Because they're not going to give you no money. They going to give you no money to go to school. They don't care about you. Right? Think about this. I.B. Wells cared about y'all. She sacrificed 7 years of her life trying to get a law passed to protect black people in this country. She went around the world trying to tell people what they were doing to black folks in Memphis and around the country by herself. A lot of black folks turned their back on I.B. Wells, but she loved our people so much that she was willing to give up 7 years of her life to try to help free us from this hell. Yes.
Did you hear about it was a long time ago, it was this man, and he went to the KKK, he joined them, and he got all their codes, and he took them back to some people, and they didn't.
Yeah, I heard about that. I know you're talking about.
The Superman thing.
Yeah, it was a white man. You could be looking at the American History Channel, American Hero Channel. I know what you're talking about. It was a white dude that say he was part of the Klan, got all the information.
But was he racist?
Nah.
Well, that's a good question. You said, was he racist? I'll tell you like this. We live in a racist system. White supremacy. Now, people say, why do they hate us? A lot of times people hate you because they want to be you. Think about, they say black people ugly, but yet you want my lips, you want my color, you want my hips, you want this. You know what I'm saying? They want everything you have, but they can't get it naturally. Even when they lynch you, lynching was a sex thing. Cause what's the thing? Like, nah, don't check out the Cheetos. No, you all right? Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is, what did they do? They cut out the organ. Cause they said that the black man was raping white women, which was not true. A lot of times, a lot of black men died protecting black women. So a lot of black men died protecting black women. And a lot of white women wanted to be with black men. And they were got Wells ran out this town because first he was a school teacher. But he said, why y'all treat the black students and the black teachers different from the white students and the white teachers? The black folks said, we can't have you in the school system. Oh, you got to get out of here. You causing good trouble with the good white folk. So the black folks got her out the school system, the Memphis school system. She got ran out the South because she wrote about in her newspaper the real reason why black people, especially black men, were being lynched was to keep us in our place. They didn't want us to hold office. They didn't want to own businesses. Because what happened to her was that one of her best friends named Thomas Moss. If you go in Mississippi or about, y'all know what a four-way restaurant is? Four-way grill. Four-way grill. Y'all know about what I'm talking about?
It's found in Illinois.
Yeah, but it's a sign that talks about the People's Grocery Store. Ida Wells, one of her good friends was Thomas Moss. He was a leader of the black community here in Memphis. He ran a thing called the People's Grocery Store, right? And he was like one of the most successful grocery store business in the city. It was like what Kroger's is right now, whatever. So everybody came to the People's Grocery Store. It was owned by black men who were respected in the city. Black, white, everybody came to the People's Grocery Store. It was a white grocery store that opened across the street from them. They was in competition. And they didn't want to be in competition with the People's Grocery Store. So what happened was the white folks that ran that grocery store formed a lynch mob to try to intimidate and try to scare away Thomas Moss and his business partners. And his business partners got their guns. And so when the white mob came to their grocery store to try to tear it down and burn it up, they shot into the crowd. And I think they killed an undercover police officer or something like that. So they turned themselves in. And while they was in jail, they took them from jail, they were lynched. Like, when I talk about all this stuff they do with you when lynching, they did that to them. Okay? So Ida Wells, they first thought that the reason why they were lynching black men, they thought they were criminals. They must have been thugs. They must have had their pants down. Or, they must have been some thugs and criminals. Then she found out when her best friend got killed. She said, no, they're not lynching people because they're criminals. They lynching people to keep them from being successful. They're trying to scare black folks from wanting to have anything in life. So she wrote about that in her paper. And she said the real reason why y'all killing us is not because we sleep with white women. As a matter of fact, the white women want to be with the black man. And the white folks said, oh, hell no, we got to let her out of here. They burned down her newspaper office. She was out of town, thank God, on the East Coast. But had she been in town, it would have lynched her too. And Ida Wells was a beautiful sister. You look at a picture of her. She was really short. She was under 5 feet tall, but she carried around 2 guns on her at all times. She said, I'm going, y'all gotta go with me too. If I gotta go, y'all go with me too.
Yeah, I'm there. So it's about how these two KKK people came to our house, and she was sitting out on the porch, and they were trying to kill her. They pulled out guns on her, but she pulled out guns on them. She said she's taking them.
Yeah, you got stories like that. I can tell you a story about my great-grandfather. I'm going down to Charleston, South Carolina. My folks on my father's side is from... Huh?
Be careful.
Yeah, I gotta be careful everywhere, bro. We all gotta be careful. But I went to Greenville. My folks are from Greenville, South Carolina. My great-grandfather, he was from Greenville, South Carolina. He owned a lot of land. And he lived next door to this white man that had a bull. And my great-grandma had a clothesline near the property line where the bull was at. So every time she used to come out to hang out the clothes and take them down, the bull would charge at the property line, threatening her life. And my great-grandfather told the white man, sir, can you please move your bull away from the property line? Because you're threatening the life of my woman. He said, well, go F yourself, nigga. He said, okay. My grandfather used to pack, he called him the African because he was real dark skinned. He was 6'5". He was a very classy guy. But he always had a gun on him. But he went into his house and got a shotgun and came back and shot the white man to death. He killed the white man. He had to leave that day because had he stayed, he would have got lynched. So he actually had to leave. He went cross country. He went to Joplin, Missouri, and he ended up settling in Kansas City, Kansas. He had to change his last name from Perret to French. Now my great uncle, who was one of his last 2 kids living, he had 10 kids when he went to Kansas City. He still go by French, and he's like a very popular newspaper man in South Carolina. He owns the state oldest black-owned newspaper, the Charleston Chronicle.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah, he almost 90 years old. I'm gonna see him this week. And but the thing about it is, had my great grandfather did not do that, I wouldn't be here. You understand? He had 10 kids. He ended up living to be almost 80 years old. He died of a heart attack getting ready for Sunday school during the 1930s. But had he not did that, he would never had 10 kids. And I won't be here talking to you. So you got people in your family tree, they had to take a stand against racism and white supremacy. They knew they couldn't get in the courts, they had to get it in the streets, and they had to survive. So everybody, Dr. King, they tell y'all this big lie about Dr. King just being nonviolent. Dr. King knew how to shoot a gun. As a matter of fact, the day that Dr. King got killed was the day he didn't have security. Because when he used to come to Memphis, Dr. King used to have an all-black police detail. They would actually appoint black police officers to protect Dr. King's life. As soon as he touched down the airport, while he in Memphis, he held protection from black police officers. The day he got killed, he had no protection. He had none. When Dr. King come down here, he used to have armed bodyguard. This is a group called the Deacons for Defense out of Louisiana.
I heard about that.
Right? He was World War II Korean War veterans. They used to guard Dr. King. When Dr. King did the March Against Fear, James Meredith.
You are needed in the office. Dr. Watson, you are needed in the office.
James Meredith, the first known black person to integrate the Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, he got shot on Highway 51. So Dr. King said, we're going to complete your march for you, the March Against Fear, because they started from Memphis and ended in Jackson, Mississippi. But Dr. King needed protection because he had the Klan. So I talked to old timers that was actually involved in March. It was crazy because here you are, you had the Civil Rights marchers marching down Highway 51. You had the Klan right behind them, and you had the Deacons for Defense with the guns with Dr. King. You had the FBI looking at everybody. You had the state troopers. It was like crazy. It's not like Selma. It's like it was crazy. You think about it. You got the Klan marching with Dr. King and them. You got the Deacons for Defense with their guns. You got the state troopers with their guns. You got the FBI watching everybody. So like Medgar Evers, y'all heard of Medgar Evers, right? Medgar Evers was what she finished. I want y'all understand who Dr. King was, not what they told y'all who he was. Medgar Evers was a field secretary for the NAACP. He got killed in front of his family at his home, June the 12th, 1963. He was just 37 years old. He got shot in front of his wife and kids at his home, coming home late at night.
In his driveway?
In his driveway. He was 37. His brother came to take his place. Charles Evers will be 93 years old on September 11th. When he was up in Chicago, Charles Evers was a gangster. That's Medgar Evers was a saint. You know, you talking about good cop, bad cop. Medgar Evers was a good cop. Charles Evers was the bad cop.
So Medgar Evers like Martin Luther King.
Right.
Like Malcolm X.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Thank you, did it. That's good. That's good. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay. But he can't. No, I talked to him. I went down to. He owns his own radio station. That man got money on top of money. He owns his own radio station. Well, I went down there and talked to him back in May. He told me when he heard about his brother getting killed down in Mississippi, he caught an airplane. Only thing I think about it, he had a Delta airline flight from Chicago. He had 2 .38s and a shotgun on an airplane. Think about when you go to the airport now. All this man was able to bring a shotgun and 2 .38s on a plane, because he said, I want to kill the person who killed my brother. So instead of him finding out who killed his brother, or the person who killed his brother, he took his brother's place as an NAACP person down there. Now, when he was in Chicago, I believe he said Malcolm X, Charles Evers was a pimp. And he owned nightclubs, and he ran numbers. He took on the Chicago mob. He took on the white mob for control of his neighborhood. He was like Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover and all them guys. All right. But anyway, let's get back on track. But when he came back to Mississippi, he took his brother's place as a civil rights fighter, as a freedom fighter. So he became the first black elected mayor since Reconstruction back in 1969 in Mississippi, in the Deep South. And he also ran for U.S. Senator back in the 70s and got almost 30% of the vote. So this guy is very fascinating. So what I'm saying, when Dr. King would come into Mississippi, when he in Jackson, the first place he'd go to was Medgar Evers' brother's house, because they had all the goons with guns. So don't let them tell you that lie about everything was nonviolent during the movement, because they wasn't nonviolent with us. They were killing our babies. They killed those 4 little girls up in that church. You know what I'm saying? They killed Medgar Evers. They killed Dr. King. Another thing, the Montgomery bus boycott. Y'all heard about that, right?
Yeah, boycott.
Don't you know one of the reasons why they had the bus boycott? People did get killed on trying to ride the bus.
I couldn't say I know about the boycott. Like I did like a little tournament thing and about black kids, and it's just about the boycott. I forgot about it.
Well, there's no shame in that, because a lot of times y'all not getting the information that you tend to learn the best is the stuff you do for self. You start doing your own research, you start internalizing, and make sure you share what you know, because life is too short. You can't do everything by yourself. We all need each other in this. But the Montgomery bus boycott, it lasted 381 straight days. That's over a year. So black folks, we always say, well, black folks can't do anything. We can't get together. We got together for over 381 straight days on a bus boycott. We were successful. But one of the reasons why they were successful was because what people don't understand is that you had black women were being raped by police officers and bus drivers. You had black women being raped by white police officers and white bus drivers in Montgomery, Alabama. Rosa Parks was the secretary of the Alabama NAACP. She actually investigated a black woman. She's still alive. She was issued an apology from the state of Alabama. This black woman got raped by 6 white men coming home from church. And Rosa Parks investigated that as the secretary for the NAACP down there in Montgomery. But what I'm saying is, you had brothers coming back from World War II and from Korean War. They said, we fought for this country. We fought to make the world safe for democracy. And we'd be damned if we don't get our rights at home that we fight for other people. So them brothers start having arms. They start walking around with armed guards, right? They start organizing their own car pools. So you never heard of one black woman during that whole time being raped by anybody. So this is what they do. They violate black bodies in this system, and they make you feel guilty about being black. But this country could not exist without black people. We built this whole country. We built the White House. Don't you know that slaves built the White House? Don't you also know that slaves burned down the White House? Back in the war, 1812, looked it up. We built the White House and we burned it down.
But
No, they got the slaves to do it. The African slaves. We built it. It was a black man that built D.C. He built it from memory. Benjamin Banneker was a brilliant black man. He built the first working grandfather clock, I believe, in this country. This man was a brilliant mathematician. He did everything from memory. But go ahead.
But you got some white people that's against racism, like white people, like they don't like what other white people doing to black folks. And
but they benefit from racism, though.
Like they try to help us out.
But are they helping us out when they benefit from it?
No, but I can't say that.
What was that?
It's these hackers. They be hacking. They be hacking into the KKK.
I know you're talking about Anonymous or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
They like hack on white and they.
Well, let me ask y'all about this though. Malcolm X, you brought up Malcolm X. Malcolm X once said that.
By any means necessary.
Yeah, by any means necessary. That's good. All right, I like that. Y'all kind of okay. But he also said, nobody can give you freedom. You must take your freedom. Nobody can give you anything. The white folks, as much as they help you, they can't help you help yourself. You must help yourself. You must get it for yourself. A white person, show me where it's at. I'll go get it myself. Do for self. Do for self. You understand? Because when you take it, so like this is the thing. When you take it for yourself, they can't take it back without your permission. When they give you stuff, they can always take it back. Slavery was never abolished. We still got slavery. The 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery. You wanna know why? What? We still got prisons. And they privatized prison. So that's new slavery.
Like you got most prison officers. Like my mom, she was a prison officer in Shelby County.
I know she had some stories.
Like mostly every other place, you don't have black officers walking around the prison. You got white officers.
And some of them being the claim.
And sometimes they be telling the black prisoners to kill themselves and stuff like that. Like like my uncle, he was in prison. A white man had slipped a razor blade in his jail cell and walked away. And he was trying to tell him to kill himself.
Right.
Did he do it?
No.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's like okay.
They told the white Canada they go do something for him if he went and blew up he blew up Chris Rock radio because he was the smart one. He was trying to do something, trying to win.
Yeah, the white person.
Yeah, I saw the one was there. I know what you're talking about. But here's the thing: they always try to get the smartest one of us. Go ahead.
Oh, like, yeah, when we talking about, like, education, I mean, yeah, so I was on the internet, right, just playing with it, and I looked up the real reason Martin Luther King died.
Right.
It really wasn't James Ray. When I had looked at it, it was telling you who he was actually a cover for the government. That's good.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna pick it back. Y'all got some brains over here. You see how smart? It's like, look. Back in 1999, they had a trial in Memphis.
I know.
And you know about the trial? I want y'all to look it up. Look up the manuscript. It's a book that a guy wrote called An Act of State.
Then I had watched a video. It was a reporter from HBO went to the jail and went to talk to James Ray behind. And like James Ray, he told him that his lawyer,
Percy Foreman, he was a mob lawyer.
Kept telling him just to plead.
Right.
And the white, he was like, since he white, wasn't nothing gonna happen.
Right.
But it had backfired, and James Ray had got this sentence. But he was like, he didn't know, cause James Ray was actually driving. He was driving through, and then Jesse and them had pointed at his car. James Ray said actually want help. So then. That when they were like the government, they were like actually, cause they said if you look at the picture closely, they were pointing at the bushes. They weren't actually pointing at their building.
And also, I want to say this to piggyback on that. With James Ray, what people don't understand is James Ray was a career criminal that couldn't even rob a grocery store without getting caught. And so I want to ask y'all this. So if we know this, that he wasn't good at robbing banks or grocery stores, how can a guy escape from a federal penitentiary for 2 years? Think about the guys, women. I want y'all to start. The guys up in New York, right? They escaped from that prison. They caught him after 3 weeks, right? But this dude escaped from a federal penitentiary in Missouri. And he was on the run for 2 years.
What's a federal penitentiary?
Like it's like the federal government controls it. Like, it's the federal government runs the penitentiary. They run the prison. It's a federal prison.
And he broke through that.
He broke through that, right? And he was on the run for 2 years, right? And they caught him where? They caught him in London. In Heathrow Airport. How can a convicted felon escaping from a federal penitentiary in the United States get to London by himself?
He was thinking like...
No, he need a passport. How can he do all that by himself?
It was a code so they could get up, so they could get off the case. So that was like James Ray escaped. They would get out the Martin Luther King stuff and be James Ray. So the press would be all James Ray.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
That's what they said. Like they used to cover it, but they didn't realize that the people in London saw the news too, and the person called the London police because they said they saw the James Ray was one of the people.
But how did he get over there? I'm saying, if he did it by himself, who helped him? You can't. If you was on the run, right? You need help to get. He was on the run for 2 years. Go ahead.
Like you said, if he could rob the store without getting caught, he could make it all the way to London.
Right. Exactly. And I told you the day that Dr. King got killed, he didn't have no protection. He had a group called the Memphis Invaders. They were like the Black Panthers of Memphis. They was at the hotel. They had guns, but they was forced to check out that day.
But like they said, Martin Luther King, after they did, he had people with him at the time. Cause there was him and his people when they had their cars right there.
Yeah, they had their cars.
They about to go to some meeting.
Right, they were. Well, actually, we going to get something to eat at Billy Cow's house, Reverend Cow's house.
Yeah.
And that's suspect too.
I thought they were had people with him, but now when he had stepped out the building.
Well, he had people with him, but they ain't have no guns or nothing like that. They ain't have no way to protect them.
What they did, they say he actually stepped out the building to go over his speech. That's what they say.
We know what I heard, that he was kneeling over, and the last words he spoke to was a guy named Ben Branch. He was Jesse Jackson's band leader for Operation Breadbasket.
Do you know
he was from Memphis. He said, play Precious Lord for me. Precious Lord was Dr. King's favorite song. That was the song that Mahalia Jackson sung at his funeral.
What do you mean like that? Pray Precious?
Yeah, Precious Lord is a song, a gospel song. And he told Ben Branch, the band leader from Memphis. He's from Memphis now. Ben Branch ended up going to Chicago, work with Jesse Jackson, became rich doing soda bottling or whatever. But he told him to pray Precious Lord, and then he got shot in the neck, on the face.
Why can we have? Why can't nobody else step to the plate like Martin Luther King did? And
well, people tried, but they killed the good ones. Like for example, in Chicago, it was a guy that Dr. King really respected. His name was Fred Hampton Sr. You need to look him up. Fred Hampton Sr. was a Black Panther. The Black Panther, right? But he was a different. He was like he was from a middle class background. He lived in the suburbs outside of Chicago called Maywood, and I believe that his grandma used to babysit Emmett Till. No, but he was born, but he was very bright. At the age of 14, he was organizing black students in his community, protesting against the swimming pool being segregated.
Swimming pool?
Yeah, this was like, it was segregation everywhere. It was not just in the South. It was all over the place.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, that's why a lot of black folks don't know how to swim today. That's why a lot of your relatives don't know how to swim a lot of times, because we were not allowed to swim in the city swimming pools. Well, they didn't put swimming pools in our community. But I want to get to Fred Hampton. The FBI was keeping notes on Fred Hampton when he was about 13, 14 years old. They knew about Fred Hampton. This is back in the 60s. They knew about him when he was 14 years old, because he was organizing the NAACP Youth Council in Maywood, Illinois. He grew there by several hundred people. He was able to organize several hundred people at 14 years old. And Dr. King had a lot of respect for Fred Hampton. And Fred Hampton, he the one that started the Rainbow Coalition.
Rainbow Coalition?
Yeah, well, basically, his idea of the Rainbow Coalition was bringing together street gangs, black, white, Puerto Rican, all together to fight, to fight the power, to fight for liberation. Yeah, fight the power. He said, I'm for black power, I'm for everybody power. But he was so articulate, the system feared him. So what they did was, on December 4th, 1969, he was set up by his bodyguard, William O'Neill. He was an FBI informant. William O'Neill fixed his last meal. He put some stuff in his meal to make him sleepy. So he was in his room with his pregnant fiancée, and the police came in at 4 o'clock in the morning and shot up the whole place with him and his Panthers in there. They killed Mark Clark. Mark Clark was sitting on the couch. He was sleeping when he had a rifle, a shotgun in his lap. So when the cops shot him in the chest, he, in response, he shot his gun off one time. And it went crazy. He shot round after round into that apartment with women and men in there, and also with his pregnant fiancée next to him. So they got into his room. They said he was going to make it. And they used a black cop to put the kill shot in his head. He said, well, he won't make it no more. And he was just 21 years old. They took him out at 21.
And it was a black cop who killed him.
It was a black cop that put the shot in. But his bodyguard betrayed him. And his bodyguard felt so bad about it that years later, he ran across the expressway in Chicago and got ran over and killed himself, supposedly. Because he said he thought that Fred Hampton was a bad guy. But then he started knowing, he said, Fred Hampton is for the people. He was doing everything good for the people.
You knew about him because you were his bodyguard.
Right. That's what they do. That's what they do. See, it's like Jesus. Who betrayed Jesus? Judas. Right. He was in his inner circle, right? So they get people that's closest to you to betray you. Like, for example,
they're trying to tell you something different about it.
Right. But no, he was working for the people that was against us.
Malcolm X.
Like Malcolm X. His main bodyguard was an undercover police officer. His name was Eugene Roberts. If you see pictures of it, you see him over Malcolm X trying to give him life resuscitation. But that's really like murder, because he got holes in his chest. He got shotgun in the chest. So why Malcolm did?
He got shot?
Yeah, he got shot in the chest. He got bullet holes all in his chest. He was just 39 years old, but the guy called himself, giving himself resuscitation, but you blowing into his mouth and you creating bubbles, and he can't breathe. You killing him. So he was there. A lot of times they would send people there to make sure you dead. So Eugene Roberts was his bodyguard, but also Eugene Roberts was one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party in New York. And he did a thing called a Panther 21, where he set up these Black Panthers to blow up allegedly historic landmarks in New York City, like the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. And one of the people in the Panther 21 was Tupac's mom. She was pregnant with Tupac when she went to court to defend herself and got off. Yeah, she's still alive. But they know about Tupac. The FBI. There's nothing about the Tupac thing. Next year will be the 20th anniversary of the Tupac assassination in Vegas. And they still can't explain to us to this day. Who killed him? Not only who killed them, but how were they able to get out of Las Vegas after a Tyson fight? But if you ever been to Las Vegas, traffic jam, come on now. How are they able to get out of Las Vegas? The people that killed Tupac.
I thought he was singing a song. Hey, Tupac was alive too.
Well, Tupac, I don't think Tupac alive. I'm be honest, I'm a big Tupac fan. He just had a big mouth. I don't think he could just be quiet for almost 20 years. But
real stuff though.
Yeah, that's why they got rid of him. You gotta understand where did he come from.
One of the people.
I got a question.
Right, go ahead.
If Tupac's so big, he is. Why can't they like you know how you honor somebody?
Right.
Like how they were playing B.I.G. song at the BET Awards. Why can't they honor Tupac?
Well, I'll tell you this. No, that's a good question. I'm gonna tell you something. I had talked to one of Tupac's rap group members of the Outlaws, Attn.
Oh yeah.
I talked to him a couple years ago on the 50th anniversary of Tupac getting killed.
Was he East Coast or West Coast?
Tupac, I'm gonna tell you, Tupac was everybody. Tupac was born in New York. He grew up in Baltimore, grew up in Oakland. And he for everybody. He for everybody. But what I don't get my point is, I said, is Tupac? I asked him, is Tupac the greatest rapper of all time? He said, man, Tupac is bigger than rap, man. Don't you know that we go around the world? They got statues of Tupac in Africa, in Europe, and they love Tupac overseas. See, the thing about it is like Malcolm X.
He's like a speech rapper.
Huh?
He's like a speech rapper.
He's speech rapper, but he speaks the truth. But he's bigger than rap because Tupac, he wasn't the best rapper as far as technical wise, but he was a master storyteller. Because his thing was, I try to keep it real. I'm gonna keep it simple for y'all, so I can understand. He was a poet. Right, he was not just a rapper, he was a poet, he was an artist, but at the same time, Tupac never won a Grammy. Tupac probably the most influential rapper of all time, he never won a Grammy. No, Kanye West talking about how many Grammys he got. You know Snoop Dogg never won a Grammy? You know a lot of great artists never won a Grammy? Diana Ross never won a Grammy. Jimi Hendrix never won a Grammy. But they saw some of the most influential artists of all time. Because my thing is this, white folks were trying to down Tupac for the longest, but the power of his art outlived their criticism. So now they got to accept Tupac. Now they're going to recreate Tupac in their own image. They got classes already. Harvard University, over in the West Coast, Stanford, places like that. Go ahead.
About 2 or 3 minutes, so we're going to wrap it up. And
I didn't get the general answer. I'm sorry.
I'm predicted in the future.
Well, go ahead.
He predicts the...
You know why? Because he studied history, though. He understood history piece up. Go ahead.
It was like a video on the internet. That was in Cuba, and then they said...
That was Tupac?
They said...
Well, you know his auntie's in Cuba, right? You know Ashada Shakur?
His sister in Cuba.
that's his auntie.
I don't know about his sister, but I know his auntie is. Let me tell you about Tupac. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. They know, the enemy know who you going to be before you could be it. They know your potential. That's why they killed Fred Hampton in his bed at 21 years old. That's why they killed Dr. King and Medgar Evers, because they know who you are before you know who you are. Tupac was born into the movement. Tupac's mama is Afeni Shakur. She was a Black Panther. His auntie is Ashada Shakur, a Black Panther freedom fighter extraordinaire. His uncle is Mutulu Shakur, another freedom fighter, Black Panther. His godfather is Geronimo Pratt. I don't know if y'all know who Geronimo Pratt is. He was one of the baddest guys. This guy, he came out of Vietnam War, fully decorated war hero. He came into the Black Panther Party, really organized the LA chapter. They framed him. They say he killed this white lady at a tennis court, but he was several hundred miles away at a Panther meeting. This is how cold they are. The FBI knew that he was at that Panther meeting with the other leadership. They had photographs. They had wiretaps. They knew he was at a meeting. He couldn't kill nobody that was several hundred miles away. He didn't do it. But they put him in jail for almost 30 years anyway. And they had all that evidence. Geronimo Pratt, his first wife, was killed when she was 8 months pregnant. They slaughtered her and put her in a mattress and threw her in the LA ravine. They basically threw her in the sewers in a mattress.
But you gotta realize, some of these rappers, they are smart. Like, they went to college and stuff.
Yeah, they're like Ludacris, 2 Chainz. I know.
I'll be saying that rappers.
Nelly, I don't think that at all.
They say, this was my pastor and stuff. They be like,
they're not stupid.
Listen to Drake and all that. They saying stupid stuff, but you gotta know that rappers, they be saying words that I don't even know. Right,
but look, like Jay-Z, they talking about the guy who shot them black people in South Carolina. Jay-Z dropped out of high school too, but when he was in the 6th grade, he was already reading at college level. He was reading in college level at 6th grade. Look at Nas. Nas dropped out of school. Nas one of the most brilliant intellectual artists we ever produced. Nas. Think about Nas. I don't know y'all listen to Nas. I love Nas. I mean, Nas. But what I'm saying with Tupac, he dropped out of high school too. But his mama, when he got in trouble, his mama said, I would make him read the New York Times. Every time Tupac got in trouble, she said, I'm going to make him read the New York Times. And Tupac was a voracious reader. He could not come up with Machiavelli and not be able to read like the way Tupac read. 50 Cent. Read all the time. 50 Cent, 48 Laws of Power, 50th Law. 50 Cent is a genius, man. Think about it. These cats didn't go no college or no, a lot of them didn't finish high school. Because God gave you something that they can't give you. They could teach you stuff in school, but God gave you something they can't give you. Y'all got talent, y'all got gifts, y'all don't even understand. They understand it because they won't teach you about Marcus Garvey. They won't teach you about Fred Hampton. They won't teach you the truth about Dr. King. They know you learn the truth about these people, you do more than what you want to do. You said, damn it, I don't want to be a ball player, I want to own the team. I want to trade my own league. You understand? So they want you to keep on being in this limbo and hating each other. We can forgive a white person that come in our church and kill grandma, but I can't forgive the dude that owe me $5. I can't forgive my brother who stepped on my Jordans, but I can forgive a white dude to kill my family. That's okay. You guys gotta think about, does black lives really matter? Not only that, does it matter that your life matter?
Did they do it to them?
Well, it's too early for all that. But this is what I'm gonna tell y'all. The Boston Marathon bomber, the guy who said he bombed the Boston Marathon, he said he was sorry. And the white folks said, hell no, you still gotta die. They put him to death. They sentenced him to death. He said he was sorry. The dude that shoot them 9 black folks in church, he never said a mumble of word about being sorry. And we forgiving him. Your family ain't even cold yet in the grave. They not even settling their body, you know, getting all the gases and liquids. And we saying we sorry, we forgive. Why are you forgiving them for? Don't you know that white folks burnt that church down? Back in the day, this during the 19th century, the founder of that church was hanged by white people because he wanted to free his people. Then my Memphis, don't you know that the white people on media could not say this man's name? When that happened, it took black folks from that area to say this church was founded by Denmark Vesey, who wanted to free his people, and they hanged him for trying to start a slave revolt in Charleston. 40% of the slaves that came to America came to Charleston. Charleston used to be a predominantly black place. What I'm saying is, they will attack us at our strongest points. They'll attack you at your church because the black church produced phenomenal people. Not just Dr. King, but John Coltrane, one of the greatest jazz musicians of the 20th century of all time. Both of his grandfathers were A.M.E. ministers. Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, they were all ministers in the black church. So we produce some phenomenal people. When we get up and want to do something for ourselves, we got greatness among us. Y'all talking about being with white folks, don't you know the reason why they let Jackie Robinson come to the major leagues was because the Negro leagues were making too much money. The black league started by black folks made way more money than the white people league. They said even the white folks were going to the black ball game. And they said, well, how can we stop this? Well, let's bring this guy over. Because Jackie Robinson played for the only team in the Negro Leagues owned by a white person. His name was J.L. Wilkerson, and he was friends with Branch Rickey, the manager of the Dodgers.
But they still did him wrong.
Oh, yeah. They lied to him. This is what they did. Jackie Robinson died when he was in his early 50s. He was legally blind. He had diabetes. By the time he died, he had the body of an 80-year-old man. They wore him out.